the ability to retain an advance deposit. So a couple of things to note about the standard functionality inside Roomkey. In this case, when we refer to an advance deposit, that is essentially a payment that is recorded on a reservation before check-in. Now, a few things to note about payments is that they cannot be recorded on a guest folio before a reservation is made. So you have to make a reservation first before you can record a prepayment. The other thing to note about payments is that they cannot be transferred between reservations before or after check-in. So before check-in, you can record a payment, but you cannot transfer that to another reservation. Likewise, after checkout, if there is a payment recorded on the reservation, you cannot transfer that to another reservation if the original reservation is already checked out. Now, the workaround method that we recommend is to use the City Ledger module. And essentially what we're going to be doing is creating and managing gift certificate. So a payment recorded in the system without a existing reservation, we would want to issue a gift certificate so that that gift certificate can represent a payment that can be used towards a future reservation. Another way that we can use this, of course, is that you can issue a gift certificate if a prepaid reservation is canceled, but you want to allow that guest to use that prepayment for a future reservation. Now, the outcomes to achieve here include that the guest can prepay for their stay before a reservation is made. A great example of that is of course, the standard understanding of a gift certificate, where you may have someone purchasing stay or prepaying a certain amount for a stay and gifting that to a recipient. And then, of course, if a guest cancels a prepaid reservation, you want to make sure that that prepayment can be used towards a future reservation. Now, one of the risks that we can identify here is that you may forget to redeem the gift certificate. You may issue it and then forget to redeem it. I'm going to take a look at a couple of methods here using the City Ledger tool that allow you to kind of record and try and keep track of that information of when a gift certificate is issued and making sure that it is redeemed. So let's dig into this workaround method in a little more detail. And before I take a look at the gift certificate inside City Ledger, I just wanted to note that there is some setup that you'll need to create inside the database first before we go through and use this workaround method. So in system configuration, you'll go to the transaction codes module. And in this database, if I use the drop-down menu here to select payment, I'm going to scroll down through the list of available payment methods. And you'll notice that I have a payment method called gift certificate. This is created with a cash transaction subgroup. And the associated account I have here is for the gift certificate. So I'm recording these separate from my regular payment methods like American Express or Visa credit card payments. This is a different type of payment recorded separately so that my accounting team knows it is associated with gift certificates and not a credit card or cash payment. So you will need to set up this type of transaction code as a payment transaction code here in the transaction codes module. And the other setup that you'll need to create found in the operations menu will go directly to City Ledger or F8 on your keyboard. In the City Ledger module, you'll want to create a City Ledger account called gift certificates. Now, some properties will want to have a designation between their gift certificates versus any retained advance deposits. So if you wanted to have that separate designation, you can create two separate City Ledger accounts, one for gift certificates and a second account strictly for the use of retained advance deposits. This database uses just one account for these purposes here. So once you have created your transaction code and your gift certificate City Ledger account, you can now use these to issue and redeem gift certificates. So the first example I'll show you is if a guest wants to prepay for a future stay. This is an example of selling a gift certificate. So I'm going to start from this gift certificates module. I'm going to double click on the account here in the City Ledger. You'll go to the Invoices tab and you'll click New Invoice. You'll see a new invoice appears at the top with a unique invoice ID, today's date, and the name is Gift Certificates. You can double click on this account, and a couple things that I recommend you edit here include the invoice name. You might want to change the invoice name to the recipient of the gift certificate. If it is not a specific person's name, you may just give it the name of the purchaser, so whoever is purchasing the gift certificate. So I'm just going to give it a name here. We'll sell it to my sister, Sarah, and click Save. So that will update the invoice name, and it makes it really easy to find either the recipient or the purchaser of that gift certificate. Now, if I am purchasing this gift certificate for Sarah, the next thing that I need to do is record a payment. So I'm going to be paying for this using my credit card. I'll click Pay Invoice. I have a Visa credit card that I'm going to use, so I'll select that as my payment or my transaction code. I can then enter in my credit card information, and I'm going to create a gift certificate for $100. Great. So I'm going to use this Visa and click OK and yes. And I'm going to post the full payment amount of $100 to this invoice. There is a credit card interface associated with this database, so this is now going to show me the approval for that credit card processing. Excellent. And I now have that recorded as a payment. So whenever Sarah is ready to make her reservation, she can call into the property, make her reservation. Once she arrives at the property, she will provide her gift certificate or her name. We can record that as a prepayment. So let me show you what that looks like as well. So just before I leave the City Ledger here, I just wanted to show you there's Sarah Leclerc, and her invoice balance is $100 because that is a prepayment that is recorded without the reservation. So I'm just going to exit out of the City Ledger here. Now, when Sarah calls to make her reservation, I'm going to be a front desk agent and select New Reservation. We'll just make the reservation for today to make it easy. On the Guest Info tab, we can record Sarah's information. And a little note here, I might recommend that you use the Res Note field to record if the guest intends to pay a portion of their stay with a gift certificate. If your property uses gift certificate numbers, you can record that as part of this reservation note. And then depending on the credit card details that you require for guarantee, you can record that here. I'm just going to say that this is recorded to a Visa credit card. So Sarah Leclerc is checking in today, and we can see her reservation here. I also see there is a note that the guest will pay with a gift certificate or GC. So when I go to check in Sarah, I wait until she arrives and presents me with the gift certificate information. If she has a paper gift certificate or if there's an email recording that there is a gift certificate that has been issued for her usage, I'll wait until she presents that as part of her check-in. And I can actually double check if that gift certificate matches the amount if I double check on the City Ledger. So to double check, I'll go back to City Ledger or F8 on my keyboard. I'll look in the gift certificate account. I'll just double click on that account here. And when I look at the Invoices tab, I should be able to locate Sarah Leclerc, and I can also see what that balance is at a glance here. Now, in order to redeem this gift certificate, I'm going to double click on the certificate or the invoice here. And when I look at the payment record, I can see that it was originally paid with a Visa credit card. I can click Pay Invoice. And this time I'm going to use the gift certificate payment code, and I'm going to just use this reference field to say redeemed and enter the amount. You'll notice here that the balance will be $100. You want to enter that as a negative amount when you are redeeming the gift certificate. So you'll see the original payment is the Visa, and then when the gift certificate is redeemed, it will appear as a negative amount. That appears here in the invoice for that gift certificate City Ledger account. So I can simply close out of the City Ledger or exit, And then here on Sarah Claire's reservation, I can record that payment using the gift certificate here on the guest folio. I'd simply click Post Payment. And instead of using the guest credit card, I'm going to change it to the gift certificate. And I can use the reference fields here, gift certificate redeemed. The other thing you may choose to do is reference that invoice number, and you can record that invoice ID. That is optional, but that can be helpful for the accounting purposes. Now, when you are recording this gift certificate as a prepayment on the guest folio, you'll want to record that as a positive amount. So $100 is entered here, and you'll click OK, Exit. So now you can see that that is recorded as a payment using the gift certificate, and that was issued from a specific invoice ID from the City Ledger. Now, for the accounting purposes, these do appear as part of the report in the financial section as part of the transaction register balance reporting. I'm just going to show the detail with guest names. So here is where it will show the gift certificates that were either issued or recorded as payments. Because the $100 was recorded inside the City Ledger module, specifically the gift certificates account, that payment was using a Visa, and that will also show up here and specify that that was for the purchase of gift certificates. So all of those details do appear as part of the transaction register balance reporting there. Now, if you have a guest that is canceling their reservation and you want to retain that advance or prepayment that they've recorded, I do have an example of how we can do that using gift certificates as well, or if you wanted to use a separate City Ledger account. I'm going to use another example reservation here. I have this reservation for Tina Brownstone. She is due to arrive September 1st, and if I take a look at her folio, I can see that she has a prepayment using a MasterCard here. Now, Tina, for whatever reason, needs to cancel this reservation. We want to allow her to retain that advance deposit to be used towards a future reservation, but she does not have a specific date in mind that she will return. So we're going to issue a gift certificate in this example. So in order to do that, I'm just going to make sure that I note the res ID, so that's 2789, and also the guest name, so Tina Brownstone in this case. I'm going to start with posting a payment so that we can cancel the reservation without refunding the amount back to the MasterCard because we want to retain this prepayment. So I'll click Post Payment, and instead of refunding to the guest credit card on file, I'm going to change it to the gift certificate transaction code, and I'm going to say issued for a prepaid reservation. And I'm also going to note the res ID here. So this is res ID 2789. Again, that's just helpful for the accounting team because they will see these reference fields as part of their reporting. Now you'll notice that the amount is already recorded as negative amount when we're issuing from the guest folio itself. So you click OK, Exit. So we've issued that for this prepaid reservation, and I can go ahead and I can cancel this reservation. Just going to say that the guest has a change in plans. There is no penalty in this case, so I'm just going to click Cancel Res. If there is a cancellation penalty noted here, I would recommend that you select Cancel Res instead of Cancel and Charge. We don't want to charge them a cancellation fee. So that reservation is canceled. There we go. And it does show on my canceled screen here with a cancellation number. If I take a look at the guest folio, I still have those two line items. I have the original prepayment that was made using the MasterCard, and then a gift certificate that was issued for this prepaid reservation. Now I need to record this as a gift certificate, or if you have created a separate City Ledger account for advanced deposits, you'll go ahead and open up Operations menu and access City Ledger or F8 on your keyboard. Locate that account. In this case, we'll use gift certificates. I'm just going to double click on that account. And over to the Invoices tab, you'll select New Invoice. Now, just like we saw before, you'll have a new invoice ID recorded here with the invoice today's date as the invoice date and the invoice name. I'm going to double click on this new invoice, and I'm going to change that invoice name to record for my guest name. The other thing you might want to do, if this is a retained deposit for a specific canceled reservation ID, you might also want to note that res ID here and save. Next, you'll go to the Payments tab and click Pay Invoice. This is where we will record that gift certificate that we issued for this guest. So you'll change the transaction code to gift certificate. And we want to make sure that this is noted as issued for a specific reservation. So exactly what we typed into the guest folio, we can note that here as well. And then we'll also record the payment amount, which was $250. You'll notice that this payment amount will be recorded as a positive amount when you are recording it in the payment amount field, and you'll click OK. You'll post the full payment amount to the invoice, and that will now appear as a line item on this Payments tab. I'm just going to close out of here, and that will show us our invoices for the gift certificates. We can see that this is associated with a specific reservation and guest name, and the amount is $250. So when Tina is ready to make her future reservation, let's say 2 or 3 weeks from now, she's going to make a new reservation with specific arrival and departure dates. We can use that same method to redeem that gift certificate that was issued in lieu of the advance deposit that was made for her original reservation.